We all want to learn and pick up skills quickly. In fact, it's not just a want we should have, it's a must we should do. Gone are the days where educational credentials are enough to get you an awesome job. These days, skills matter, and with technology, things change fast. So we can't be spending years just trying to learn something, only for it to become irrelevant. So that's why knowing how to learn, most of all acquiring certain skills quickly, is so important. In this video, I'll go through the 10 key principles I leveraged based on the book The First 20 Hours, How to Learn Anything Fast by Josh Kaufman, which go through ways in which you can acquire any skill relatively quickly within just 20 hours of focused, deliberate practice. But before I do so, make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up if you're keen to learn how to learn things fast, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so I can continue to put out content that will help you mine the golden mind. So, starting with principle number 1, choose something you enjoy. The first principle is all about finding something that you genuinely excites you. You've heard the whole adage said before, find what you're passionate about. While it does sound cliche, it's somewhat true. That doesn't mean that the thing needs to be your all-time passion, and of course if it is, great. But what's more important is you need to be passionate about what you're doing. Anything, whatever it is, will be forfeited if you don't have any interest in it. So you need to find a problem, love that problem, and try to solve that problem. The more excited you are, the quicker you'll get to acquiring it. Ultimately, it's the emotional investment in a project that increases motivation and makes the learning process more enjoyable, thereby increasing the likelihood of persistence and success. Principle number 2, focus one at a time. While it can be tempting to just want to acquire all sorts of skills all at the same time, don't get ahead of yourself. Just know that you have time, and especially if you're able to acquire something relatively fast within a period of 2 months or so, why rush it? The idea here is to avoid spreading yourself too thin by trying to learn multiple skills simultaneously. Concentrate on one skill, ensuring that all your learning efforts and practice are channeled efficiently into learning that particular skill. This doesn't have to go on for years until you move on to the next, but at least during the initial acquisition phase, try to dedicate your efforts into a single thing. Number 3, set specific targets. Nothing ever will come out of something that has no specificity. If you simply tell yourself that you want to learn to play the piano without any real target goal of what that means, then you'll never feel like you've reached a point of satisfaction. You need to learn to set specific achievable goals for what you want to be able to do with the new skill. Clear goals provide direction and a benchmark to measure progress against. As I mentioned in many previous videos, leverage the SMART goals framework that helps you focus on specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-based goals. Going to the piano example earlier, instead of saying, I want to learn to play piano, rephrase the goal by saying, I want to learn to play one song properly within a 2-month period. Then you can just focus on that one song and learning that one song until one day, voila, you're able to play. Number 4, deconstruct skill. Any skill, whether that be playing piano, doing jiu-jitsu, speaking a different language, cooking, programming, all of it can be broken down into sub-skills. Most skills are made up of these sub-skills, and the accumulation of those sub-skills lead to acquiring that skill. So when you're learning something, try to break that skill into its components, focusing on learning each sub-component separately. This makes the task of acquiring said skill into a more manageable, digestible way. So let's say you don't know what the sub-skills are. Well, these days, with the internet and even ChatGPT, you can spend 30 minutes or a bit just to find out what exactly is involved with learning that skill. Number 5, gather the right resources. Talking about research, the next principle is all about finding the right resources to learn what you need. This has become tremendously easier with ChatGPT. Anyone can just do a quick search of interesting resources and simply figure out what are the best books, online courses, YouTube videos, and more to learn that given skill. Make sure you learn from the right places though, and this can help you learn faster. Number 6, remove distractions and barriers. If you want to learn anything, you need to focus. And you won't be able to focus if you have a million notifications ringing at your phone and random distractions playing in the background. Identify and remove any physical, emotional, or digital obstacle that makes it difficult for you to practice that skill. This can mean setting up a dedicated practice space, learning to take a break from technology, or altering your schedule to make time for practice on that given period. Number 7, block time to practice. Finding the right environment to practice is great, but what's also important is to actually create time to practice. The problem with learning a skill is that it isn't assimilated into our daily habits, so we often put it off for other things we're already doing. But if you do, you'll never learn. So forcefully allocate specific times for practice and treat these times as non-negotiable appointments. Consistent, regular practice is the only way to rapid skill acquisition, and scheduling it helps to ensure it happens. Number 8, create feedback loops. No matter how much you practice, if you aren't getting any feedback with your practice, then how do you know if you're doing it right? Feedback is crucial for improvement. The faster you can get feedback on your performance, the quicker you can adjust and improve. This can involve self-assessment, input from friends or family, or even just asking online forums. Number 9, practice in short bursts. When you think of the greatest athletes or musicians, we often think that they are sitting down and practicing endlessly nonstop. But the reality is that is far from the truth. Many professional athletes have actually gone on record to say how much time they spend resting and recovering their mind and body so that they can actually practice more effectively. So don't think of practice as this long, drawn-out session that is only going to overwhelm you and make you feel reluctant to move forward. Instead, opt for shorter, more focused bursts of practice. And finally, number 10, quantity and speed matter more. We've always been taught that quality trumps quantity. Now, this is true for the most part when it comes to being great at something. And for the most part, we should always remember that quality does matter. However, at the early stages of skill acquisition, when we're just starting out to learn this new skill, quantity is more important. In the early stages, you need to get as many reps in. Focus on quantity. Don't get so overworked by perfection, but that comes for later once you have the skill down. Plus, this approach can also help to accelerate your learning and get you seeing some results faster, ultimately giving you more motivation to continue in moving forward. So there you have it. These are the 10 principles for learning anything quick. Remember, the point of these principles is to learn a skill fast. If you want to acquire any skill quickly, you need to keep these things in mind. And of course, you can focus on improving quality and perfection and form later down the road. Keep in mind, if you dedicate 1 hour a day for a month, that's about 30 hours clocked in. And while there's no specific number to the amount of days, science does state that it can take a person on average 66 days for a habit or new behavior to become automatic. So what that means is within roughly 1 to 2 months, you can already pick up something new. So learning how to learn is important, especially in an age where adaptability continues to rank as one of the most desired skills in the future workplace. It's time to let go of the past belief that acquiring skills will take years and then not doing so because of the overwhelming burden of taking such a long, arduous journey. Skill acquisition and learning should be approached with enthusiasm and excitement. One of the biggest barriers to learning is the time it actually takes to learn it. But often we confuse this idea of acquisition with mastery. And those barriers we have to learn to break down to actually start learning. In fact, even countless research and studies by scientists and psychologists have pointed to the idea that for most skills, we can learn and acquire it relatively quickly, where improvement is not most drastic at the beginning. This is what is known as the power law of practice. So if you want to learn more about this, I go into it further detail in the next video. But before you hop off, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so I can continue to feed you nuggets of gold on brain and behavior.